Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, or welcome to another Bangs audio review. Today's victim is the Sound Rhyme SP01, or technically the SP01, because that's zero and not no, but it's reflecting, so I'm going to move it. Anyway, we'll do that unboxing pretty quick, because I've got a lot to say about the set and the comps and some things about Penon in general that are going to be positive. Company that I didn't start out on the best foot with, but we'll go through all of it. Anyway, I think we're back in each other's good graces at this point, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. When disagreements can be resolved, that is always a good thing, as we all know right now. So on the Sound Rhyme SP01, we are looking at a single dynamic driver, 10mm, carbon nanotube, DLC composite. That's your config. Metal shells, 110 decibel sensitivity, 16 ohms on the impedance. You can choose between a 4.4 and a 3.5 plug. There's some of the stuff right up here. This is from the Penon Audio website. And yeah, it comes with some nice tips as well. We'll grab the unboxing here. I'm going to move that right out of the way because it just, the shiny boxes always reflect here in the old tech lounge. Oh yeah, side flap, right? Side flap. Yeah, hello. Side flap, magnetic. Really nice box, mock leather box for accessories. In here you get a polishing cloth, which I almost forgot about, which is staying out. A little brush for cleaning. There we go. You've got your nozzles. You've got sort of treble, which is the clear treble, accentuated, warm, which accentuates the bass and the mid bass, and the mid's a little bit more, and the balanced tips, which are balanced nozzles, which are what I used for 99% of the listening, and also the graph is on the balanced nozzles as well. So no complaints at all on the accessories. I'm not going to get into the clear or the warm nozzles because they didn't suit me. They might suit other people, and that's why they included them. But for me, the balanced tips were the way to go. So there's that for you. Nice. We're seeing more of these screw-on, nicer than your standard puck case. You know, Let Schuer's using this a lot. The Sound Rhyme embossed on the top there is well done. Well, you know, a little bit of scuffiness on it, but nothing too bad. I did try to clean that up with some electronics cleaner. Didn't really come off, so I was afraid I didn't want to screw up the words on there, so I stopped trying to clean it. But you know, minor complaint. Did I say minor 3 times? Yeah, I did. So very minor, but good, solid protective case. Certainly it's going to handle falls very well. Probably will handle some splashes very well, although probably not scuba diving, so don't do that anyway. Why would you be taking IEM scuba diving? I don't know why I keep saying that, but I guess I'm just trying to make the point that it may or may not be waterproof. I wouldn't personally test that theory. So straight up unboxing. The box is heavy. It feels nice. It feels premium. It's got the magnetic seal to the closure on the flap. I mean, these are all, as I bring this back out, not putting that away, you know, it feels like a premium unboxing, and for a $90, $89 retail, which is what these usually go for, it's a nice unboxing experience. Makes you feel like you bought something quality, and yeah, so I'm a fan of what they did with that, especially for the price point. Now let's get into the price point. Okay, the price point is variable. So if you buy them at full retail or regular retail price, you're going to be paying $90. Myself was smart for once and actually got them on AliExpress, and between the store coupon, the sale coupon, and some coins, I was out the door, shipped for $59.25. And let me tell you something, outside of the, what was it, $100 I paid approximately for the KE4, This was probably financially, from a value standpoint, one of the best purchases I've made this year or any time. To get something of this quality for under $60 is just crazy. Crazy. I would have been just fine paying 90 or $100 for them, perfectly satisfied. They're one of the best sub $100 sets that I've had this year. They're going to be on the top 10 value list for the year. So it's, the proof's in the pudding, folks. And it's not just about the nice build quality. It's not just about the nice accessories, the nice unboxing. It's also about how good they sound. And that's what we'll be getting into very shortly here. To finish up on the build and the fit, these are a pretty small shell. They have a very secure 2-pin, flush 2-pin connection. It's hard to get this cable out. Machined aluminum, CNC access aluminum, and a faceplate that is your choice. I think they have blue or sort of a pinkish color. Very attractive, a nice wave pattern on them. I just really, really love the build quality. Again, for the price, even if they were 90, really good build quality on these guys. And the comfort is great, there's no physical fatigue from wearing these for extended periods of time. The shell is fairly small, and it fits right in. I think most ears, even the smallest ears, are going to handle these okay. You're not going to have to worry about any sort of like rubbing discomfort. Really just a nice, it's nice that they're not overbuilt, considering that they're just one driver. It is a dual magnetic configuration, and the acoustic chamber, like, they have to make room for some stuff in there, but they didn't overdo it for the shell size. They kept the shell size nice and small and extremely, extremely comfortable. As far as the cable goes, all right, let's do the ear tips first. So you can see Divinous Velvet normal bore on there. I did try the wide bore. Found it just kind of threw the sound signature off just a shade. I think it's fine. If you prefer those, you're probably going to be fine. But for me, it was normal bore, along with the Penon L black over the orange, because they're slightly wider bore. So I would say your normal bore ear tips of your choice would be the way to go with these. They just have a nice balance to them, even though they're weighty and heavy in the bass and the sub bass and the mid bass. I still feel like they are balanced somewhat overall. Okay, so the cable is good. You can, as I said, order it in 3.5 or 4.4, your choice. These things are really sensitive, very easy to drive, easier even than maybe the specs might indicate. When I did my testing, I had my master volume on the laptop at 20%. Anything more than that, and it was like I was getting like really high readings, like 92, 93 decibel readings. So you'll be able to drive them should you choose the 3.5 termination over the 4.4. So whatever land you're living in, whatever you prefer, you can go ahead and get what you like. And also, that means that not a big drivability issue. They did not necessarily, to me, get that much better when I was using more powerful sources on the desktops versus a dongle DAC. I did like the EPZ TP35 Pro with these. I also like the DTC 800 from Dunu. Really, I don't think you need to worry about anything. Even an Apple dongle will get the job done, because they're just super easy to drive and very, very sensitive. So also, really, it's nice to have that in a sub $100 set where you don't have to worry about the source as much, because if you're shopping more for a value, you don't want to have to spend another 70 or 80 or $100 on an additional amplification dongle, that kind of thing, if you don't want to, or if you can't, right? So really nice job with that, making these easy to access, and so far as drivability goes. So really, everything's good up to this point. Everything is excellent up to this point. So and I like the cable well enough. You know, it's a B plus cable, considering what I paid for them and what the normal retail price is. It's probably closer to an A cable. Really well done, and I would expect no less. This is under the Penon Audio umbrella, as I may have mentioned. So SoundRhyme, my first experience with it, I've been eyeing the SR5 for like ever and a day. At some point, I may pick those up. I've seen them go on sale. I've been like, ah. And now, you know, even though the graph is a little different, you know, it's a little more bright leaning, not so much bass, I feel like they're going to be good. I just feel like they're going to be good. So that might be coming down the line. But for now, today is the SP01. And we will get into the graph and the sonic impressions. Here we go. Oh, here, let me take out the comp graphs just for a second so we don't get too confused. These graphs were taken this morning. You probably can't see the difference, but you probably can see the fact that the channel matching on these is pretty damn impressive. We're starting with a very, very, very large quantity of sub bass and mid bass. It does dip it down into the mids. I think that keeps them from getting too muddy, because honestly, like, there's really good detail and impact and everything that, you know, that you're expecting. You know, maybe not as quick of a decay. The set is very warm and very musical, and that is even in before I get into the comps, even in comparison to the Pula Unicron, even a little warmer and more musical than that set is. You'll see why that is on the graph when I bring it up. But just, if you're a bass head, this is going to satisfy you. You know, it's certainly not like Fat Freak level bass, but it's going to satisfy you. I mean, it's got it. There's a no doubter for bass heads, in my opinion. Even though I'm still just a quasi bass head, but for me, the bass is high quality, very well defined, has really good detail, and enough of a quick enough decay where it's not, you know, overshadowing the rest of the frequency response. But damn, it's got bass. Just don't don't think it doesn't. Obviously, you look at the graph. That's where it's at. Mids, on, like I said, mids are sort of warm. I don't feel like they're covered by that bass. I feel like they're just kind of like nice, engaging. I wouldn't say the mids are the strong point of the set, but they're certainly not bad. Both male and female vocals came through very nice and very clear and very natural. And then, you know, really kind of nailed the ear gain for my preferences. It's not too steep, it's not too aggressive, but it's not too, you know, it's not too mellow either. Really kind of picks up the energy into the treble, low to mid treble. Very, very good. No complaints, no massive peaks or dips here. Like, there is a little bit, but it doesn't sound in any way like disjointed or weird or distant or whatever. You're going to pick up some detail. It's not a detail beast, but you're going to pick up some detail. You get a nice amount of soundstage. Again, doesn't compare to the Unicron from a soundstage perspective, but it is good enough. Like, there's a sense of space there and good positioning. I wouldn't say it's like laser precise in positioning or has the best separation of any set that I've heard in this category. I would say both the Sivga Q and the Pula Unicron do a little bit better job of separation and imaging than this set. But I don't really feel like that was the goal of this set to start with. You know, the goal of this set, from what I can tell from SoundRhyme, was just like basically instant gratification. Like, it hits you immediately. You're like, whoa. And then you just like ease into it. You're like, oh, okay, I get it. I see what this is about. Even without access to a graph or, you know, measurement capability, it'll take you a second, just like most sets do, to be like, oh, what is this set about? Oh, this set is about bass and musicality. You know, not super technical, not highly resolving, but so satisfying. And, you know, in that sense, it handled a lot of genres really, really well. Metal was a breeze. You know, rock, hard rock, obviously just fine too. Hip hop, R&B, all sounded great. The pop stuff, K-pop, J-pop, like that was all also very, very good. Female vocalists, like I said, it's not, they don't get too warm and heady. A little bit, it was a little bit much in some spots, but for the most part, it was very nice. It was just, they felt very natural and just like warm, So that's cool. Good weight, good note weight, obviously, to the whole thing. There's one, or there are two genres that this set did not perform well on, and you can probably guess what they would be. That is going to be jazz, like Coltrane and Davis, and classical, orchestral, and quartet, quintet. The quartets and the quintets were a little bit better, but I look for a little bit more technicality, a little bit better resolution, and a little bit better imaging when I'm listening to that music. Like I said, that's not what this set is about. Not that it's bad at it, it's certainly very good at it, but it doesn't really reach the level of other sets in its configuration and price range for those genres, So it wouldn't be my go-to set for jazz, it would not be my go-to set for classical, but it would be my go-to set for just about everything else under the sun. Really, really nice sound signature to them. Yeah, not aggressive. It's not going to fatigue you. I feel like the treble is. I feel like the treble is good. It's not a standout feature, but it's certainly good enough. It certainly balances the bass enough to give the set a really sort of well-rounded feel. And it's tasty. It's freaking tasty. I will say that. One thing that it did really well, and this is something not everybody's going to listen to this anyway, but there's a song by Billie Eilish called Happier Than Ever, and for whatever reason, bro, like right around the 2:30 mark, just cranks the mix up past like he like redlines the mix for like the bass and the guitar and the drums, like it's fully distorted. Drives me fucking crazy every time I hear it, because I don't like that at all. I'm like, he did it on purpose, it's not an accident. He did it for effect, for like tone painting, as you will, because of the song and the nature of the song and the lyrics and so on and so forth. I can't listen to that song. 99% of the sets that I listen to it on, I'm just like, I'll listen to it up to that point because I like Billie Eilish, but after that, I'm like, shut it down. I was able to listen to the whole song this time. Still friggin' hate it, that aspect of it, but for whatever reason, or for the reasons that we've talked about, the SP01 was like, okay, I can handle this shit, no problem. No problem. It's still distorted, it's still fucked up, it's still like not real pleasant to listen to, but you can listen to it. Like, it doesn't make you want to, just grab the IMs out of your ears, which most other IMs, that's what it feels like, or sounds like. So on that note, obviously, things like the heaviest metal that I've got, things like Archspire and Alluvial and, Slaughter to Prevail and stuff like that, like these, they ate it up. Like, it was no problem. It was like lunch. It was like, yeah, yummy. Give me more of that. So, metalheads, rejoice. This is a great set for you. This is a great set. That's why I'm going to let Rogue try them out. I'm going to send them off to him a little bit later this week, because he's the one that's introduced me to some really good, like, heavy metal bands. I think he'll really enjoy these. Anyway, so to the comps. Here we go. So, in my opinion, here's the Sivga Q, and I actually did do some cleaning and organizing down here, guys. I know it doesn't look like it, but if you looked behind me a few days ago, it's better now. Here, look. See? Better. Sivga Q is definitely a brighter leaning set. It is a better technical set in the sense that it has a more, I would say, like a better defined treble to it. It's a little bit spicy, but not like anywhere near the UTG. This is still one of my favorite Beryllium Driver sets, and I think it performs well, but it definitely handles more of the jazz and classical than the Sound Rhyme set does. Excuse me. But but doesn't perform as well with metal as some might like it to, and is just a little bit light in the bass for R&B and hip hop. The Pula Unicrom, which might as well be called the Unicorn, does everything well, from classical and jazz right straight through to the heaviest of metal. So this is still my king. It is also a beryllium driver. I have not had a set in my years under $100 in a single driver configuration anyway, or maybe in any configuration that I feel like is as universal in its abilities as the Unicrom is. So this still is my winner. And unless something crazy comes along between now and the end of the year, it will be my top value of 2025. I can't find really much of anything wrong with this set at all, ever, and anything. That being said, Sound Rhyme is like well over a year old now, so I think it was released in midsummer of 2024. A lot of people have reviewed it. I decided to do a full review of it anyway because of the value primarily, and because I don't have a lot of sets that have this level of bass to them, and it's just in that sense makes it to me really, really, really fun. So that's why it gets a highly recommended. And I would also recommend that if you can, like if you could be patient, wait for a good sale on AliExpress and get it to, down to 70 or even 60 like I did US dollar wise. You can't, it's a can't miss unless you hate bass. Okay, if you're not a fan of bass, then skip it. But if you like your sub bass rumbly and you like your mid bass impactful and you like your sound signature warm and you don't like your treble too spicy, man, the SP01 is just, wow, it's a hell of a set. So kudos to Sound Rhyme and Penon. Guys, talking to you right now. I really appreciate how you handled the TSMR armor return situation that I believe is going to be the replacements are arriving today. I really appreciate your, I would say, commitment to really good customer service. And at this point, I've pretty much, even though I haven't forgotten about it, I've fully forgiven the interaction that I had with whoever it was on AliExpress, a year and a half ago or so, who got like kind of a little bit aggro about me trying to comp the H30 with the EPZ K5. That was a little unnecessary, but all is forgiven. I can tell you're a good company. I can tell you're a quality company in product and in customer service, and I just want to say thank you for releasing a set like this, which makes a bass head set accessible to a lot of people. It's a really good price and really well accessorized and just really tasty. That's my best. It's tasty. It's like pastry tasty. So if you're in the market and this looks good to you, like how your preferences lean, I can't say anything more positive about the Sound Rhyme SP01. It's a full go. See if you can get it on sale, but even at $90, it's still a full go. So that's going to do it for today. Hope everybody's hanging in out there. Hope you're doing well. I hope your loved ones are doing well. Let's continue to try to choose love over hate, folks. We're at a very, very dangerous, very critical time in the United States. We really need to come together. We need to learn how to talk again, learn how to debate, learn how to forgive, learn how to understand, learn how to just kind of empathize and sympathize and all of those things. We can do it. We can pull together, and we will get through this. For now, be careful, be safe, be nice. Love y'all. Nothing but peace to you. I'll see you soon.